Okay, the next throw is a double underhooks or a front bear hug takedown. The amount of damage you do here will depend on your situation. I'm going to show you a way to execute this where there is no impact, where you just bring a person down. I'll also show you a variation like on the double leg takedown where you've gone to hip level. In this case, you're simply going to use their shoulders to lift them, turn their feet out, and you come down hard and cross mount. And keep in mind, if you're a 200-pounder and you bring somebody down on the concrete and their 200 pounds hit their spine with your 200 pounds on top of them, you've got a liability issue. So as we study each of these throws, remember the principle of getting the person to the ground, doing the least damage necessary, and coming up in a position where you have the advantage. Quite often, you'll be in a situation where you're in a double underhooks kind of a relationship to somebody when you get to in a wrestling around situation like a bar fight, whatever, a domestic. If your hips are out, it's a defensive position. To go to offense, I've got to get my hips in and lift him with my legs. That's how I'm going to execute the basic leverage for this throw. So whether he grabs me, wrestling hold, whatever, I'm going to pummel to my underhooks and shoot my hips in to lift him. Now some of you who know Greco-Roman wrestling know there was a suplex or a suplex about to happen there as well. So I'm not doing any fancy leg work, except I'm aware of my weapon. If this fella tries to grab me, I go under, and I'm just going to do as basic a grip as I can get here. I can wrap both arms around him. Or if he's a bigger guy, I can tie my fingers together. Whatever, I just want to lock it up here, shoot my hips in, and there's the basic fundamentals for a double underhooks or a bear hug takedown. When we get to the point where I show you some variations, I'll show you how to do this without elevating the person off the ground. He grabs me by the neck, both hands this time. If I drop down and just shoot straight in, I'm trying to keep my legs on the outside so that if it goes to the ground, I wind up in mount. But on this variation, notice I didn't fight his hands. He grabs me by the neck. I just tighten my neck and bow. And as I bow, I'm putting a lot of pressure on his thumbs. But I'm not just going to stand here and let him choke me again. I come in on my double underhooks, lift his hips. If I'm dealing with a shorter guy, I have him here. Shoot my hips in, lift him off the ground with my hips, turn him out so that I come up in cross mount. So the fundamental entry to a bear hug takedown is fairly simple. All you got to do is get under both of his arms, get around his waist, around his rib cage, around his hips, and then you drive your hips in so you're lifting him with your legs. You don't want to be lifting a 200-pounder like this. Remember, if your hips are out, you're in a defensive posture. Make it hard for the other guy to throw you. If your hips are in, now you're assuming the offensive posture, getting your legs underneath you so you can elevate the other person. There's your basic entry with a couple variations into double underhooks or bear hug takedown.